Good evening and welcome to this evening's meeting of the Woodbury County Board of Adjustment. Today's date is July 1, 2019, and the time is 6 p.m. according to the big clock on the wall. Tonight's meeting will be audio taped and minutes will be prepared. In respect to all parties, we ask those present to turn off your cell phones or set them to vibrate. Those in attendance are asked to legibly complete the attendance sheet on the front table. If you have not already done so, please do so. I'd like to take a moment to review the procedures that the board will follow tonight. First, the board will handle the normal housekeeping agenda items. Then for each application on the agenda, I will open a public hearing on that item. The planning and zoning staff will then present the staff report, including staff recommendations. Any letters or other communication received from the public prior to the hearing will be entered into the record. The applicant will then have the opportunity to present their case and respond to the staff report. Next, we will hear comments from the public. If you would like to speak either in support of or against the application, you must come to the microphone. Please first state your name and address for the record. Although interested parties shall be heard, repetitious comments should be avoided if all possible. Repetitious or irrelevant comments may be ruled out of order by the chair. I ask that you remain respectful and courteous with your comments at all times. After all public comments have been heard, the staff and applicant may make a closing statement. The hearing shall then be closed by motion and vote. Therefore, no further comments from the staff, public, or applicant may be heard unless asked for by the board. The board shall then deliberate the case and may ask questions of the applicant, the staff, or any other party offering testimony. However, such questions do not reopen the hearing for additional comments from the public unless so requested or approved by the board. The board will then formulate and vote on a motion. The motion will typically either grant or deny the requested application. Any board member who has an ex parte communication to place in the record of this meeting should do so prior to the meeting of deliberation in the respective item. Any person desiring to appeal the board's decision to a court of record may do so within 30 days after the filing of this decision with the Planning and Zoning Office. Any questions? Okay. The first item on the agenda is election of the 2019 chairperson and vice chairperson. And we're all here, so we can vote. So do we have ballot material, or how do you want? Or do you folks have another way you want to do it, or whatever?
We have to make nominations.
Okay.
I'd like to nominate Katie Collins.
I second that.
That's chairman. Yes, chairman.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. I'm going to need a nomination for vice chair. Oh, you're opposing?
All right.
Nominations for a vice chair?
Nominate Joanne.
Joanne, would you do that this year?
I'm only here for the rest of this year, so
Huh?
if you want me to.
I'll second that nomination.
Well, I thought you nominated her. You can't.
Bob did.
Oh, okay. Sorry. All opposed? Or all in favor, same sign?
Aye.
Yes, aye. All opposed, same sign? Okay.
So in the
We'll switch seats right now.
nomination research that needs to be a vote.
Well, I consider that a vote, right? Or do we have to vote?
I thought you just voted.
Yeah, we did.
Yep.
That was perfect. You're the woman. I like it.
How quick you move.
Well, thank you for your year of
Are you going to take your
good
microphone
service.
with you?
I guess so.
All right.
It's a test.
Thank you, Heather.
All right.
Oh, geez, I left my
Sorry, Tom.
Sit down.
Yeah, but it would help if I knew what I was doing. All right. Second item on the agenda, are there any citizens wishing to be heard regarding a non-agenda item? We're all here for, all right, none being. Do I have a motion for approval of the minutes of the May 6, 2019 meeting?
I've read through them, and I'll make a motion that we approve the minutes.
I second that.
All right. Got a second. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same signal. All right. Minutes have been approved. All right. So, next up is our public hearing on a variance request. Amy Benjamin, property owner at 1056 Emmett Avenue, Lawton, Iowa, parcel number 894-504-300001, northwest quarter of the southwest quarter, section 4, township 89, range 45, Banner Township. Request for the Board of Adjustment to consider her proposal to build a deck encroaching into the 100-foot setback in the Agricultural Preservation Zoning District as required by Section 3.04 of the Woodbury County Zoning Ordinance. Ms. Benjamin's house was constructed as a farmhouse in 1930 and is located approximately 65 feet from the front right-of-way line. Under the zoning ordinance, her property is currently designated as a legal non-conforming structure under Section 4.02.2b, where any enlargement, maintenance, repair, or modeling of a legal non-conforming structure shall not either create any additional nonconformity or increase the degree of existing nonconformity of the structure. Section 4.02.4a. All right. All right. Dan, you want to?
Okay, as included, this is a variance request, and just to mention that tonight's variance request, we look at section 2.02 of the Administrative Procedures under variance, and the definition of a variance is intended to provide necessary relief from the requirements of the zoning provisions of this title that would create unnecessary hardships or practical difficulties. And within the criteria of that section is where the staff analysis goes through each of those concepts. But before I get into the staff analysis, it's important to read into the record that this request was published in the Sioux City Journal section Friday, June 21st. We have a stakeholder comment in the record from Mark Nara. He had a comment in there about just an issue with the site plan, reiterating that the right-of-way is 33 feet from the center of the road, which is not reflected on that site plan. He went on to say that he has no objective to the 4-foot deck on the front of the house, as that still keeps the permitting 50 plus feet from the right-of-way. He does object to the position of the stairs encroaching into that direction. We have not had any other comments that would disagree with this variance request. But moving to page 7 within your packet, we list out the criteria directly from the ordinance. We we show you what the applicant has offered for her response for this request to request relief from the ordinance. And basically what we look at is the issue is a legal nonconformity. And rural Iowa, we have a lot of homes that were built to support farming operations, and when they're no longer in a farmer's hands and in a non-farming situation, the ordinance basically puts a block on expanding the structure under that. And so the ordinance makes it pretty clear in terms of, let's see, I have section 4.02, dot 2 and 4. The definition just does not allow it based on being a non-farmer. And so what we have seen is the definition of a variance. Basically, there's a bit of caution in there that the precedent of expanding these legal nonconformities, I guess what I'm kind of interested in too would be past board actions on this nonconformity type of issue, because if something of this nature on expanding, that would definitely go contrary to what the ordinance is in terms of expansion, but at the same time it removes that, basically that requirement from the ordinance, as is the definition of a variance. So kind of going through the respective criteria, then we basically got to look at this in terms of the definition of alleviating some type of practical difficulty or hardship, basically on the applicant. And the applicant again responded that that this definitely keeps her from the enjoyment of her property in terms of wanting that respective structure on the property, but the ordinance just doesn't make it clear enough to allow that, basically. So we are going to the staff analysis then. We basically look at kind of an issue that a lot of landowners or potential landowners would likely need to consider, and that is when you're out purchasing a home based on the nature of rural Iowa. There's a number of these houses that could become placed in this situation. So you purchase this, the ordinance doesn't allow you to expand that, creating this necessity. So it really comes down to the really definition of the hardship and the practical difficulty. And as I kind of alluded to before, this type of decision would make kind of a precedent based on if you alleviate the ordinance here, you do it on every single instance in the future based on that nonconformity type of definition. That's
Well, I think, first of all, every situation has its own standards. So if we approve it or don't approve it, there's no bearing on anything in the future. That's just the nature of our board. So, just to make that clear.
I agree. It's case by case basis.
Because all the factors are different every time, so we're going to analyze it based on that, and that's what the purpose of our board is.
And I've been on the board for a couple of years anyhow, and I don't think I've ever run across this one or status deck.
Right.
So, I don't think it falls under the category of commonly reoccurring. And now that doesn't mean that the next six come in won't be within.
Right. Is the applicant here? State your name and address, please.
Amy Benjamin, 1056 Emmett Avenue, Long Island.
Anything that you'd like to say?
The little map was quite detailed.
Yes, it is. We purchased this back in about September of 16. It had been abandoned. It was a sheriff's sale prior to that, and it was in pretty bad disarray. We worked very hard to bring this property up to where it's at now. And now to the point where I'm ready to put a deck on. And I'm okay with the 4-foot deck coming out the front. because it's the west and it's too hot, you can't enjoy it, but I would like to extend that out onto the north side. And all the utilities are coming either off the south or the east. So if I would put something out there, then it's gonna cover out the well line, the sewer line, the air conditioning, the propane tank, and if anything would happen, I'm not gonna be able to have access. So the only place that I have would be the front and the side to put in a deck. And it would be really nice to step out, and even with the 4 foot, I'm okay with that. The front door, because it comes to the road, and I figure that the front door, it's a 36-inch door. The back door is only a 30, and I could not do anything with that because of the brick that came in. It only allowed me a 30-inch door. So if we move anything in, it has to come through the front.
Is there a porch on the house originally when you bought it?
You know, it is the back door to me is like a small porch. I'm not sure if way back when it was a cave door going down into the basement. All it is a 7, let's see, is it 7 feet by, I don't know, 7 by 10? And it's just 3 stairs that come up and then you go into the kitchen or down into the basement. I'm not sure what was there originally many years ago. I don't really know if that was even an original porch that was put on years ago.
And that's in the back, you say?
That's in the back, yeah, and that's the 30-inch door. So
Yeah.
when we bring anything in, it's gotta come in through the front.
Gotcha.
And it would be nice to be able to at least have that, so we could bring things in. The only thing we've done since then is we've actually been able to back the pickup up and just take it into the door, so. As far as the north side, it's more my enjoyment. I would really like to be able to sit out. The house is very small, and it's kind of extra living area. And I would honestly like to get up in the morning and have a cup of coffee out in there. I don't know if that's considered a hardship or not, but I'm trying to improve the property the best that I can.
What is the square foot of the house now?
860 something. Yeah.
I didn't get a chance to visit the site, but north and south, how far, where's it at? That one section, kind of in the middle, is there, how far to the north is the next road, how far to the south is?
To the north would be C70.
That's a
To
big
the north, that's clear way down, about a mile and a half, yeah. And then to the south is probably about a half mile,
That's
and
okay.
that's D12.
Oh, D12.
Yeah.
Isn't that dirt road to the north?
That's the Plymouth County, Woodbury County line, yeah, so from there it's, I don't know, probably about a little over a half mile, because I know Kevin and Sheila live
Typically,
about a half
you know,
mile.
everything's a mile apart in the country
Yeah.
normally, the
Right.
gravel roads,
Right.
paved roads.
But it's all farm
Yeah.
around me,
Yeah.
there's nobody there.
The getting stuff in and out of the house without steps.
Right now, all we have is bricks.
I know, I saw it there. But, yeah,
Yeah.
if you build a deck out 4 foot, I mean, without steps, is that gonna be an issue? To bring things
You know
in and
what?
out?
If I don't get the steps, that's fine, because if I can get the deck on, also continued on the north side, then we can bring it up. And my thought was where that porch is at, I could have my steps come up there. And I guess my thought is too, I don't plan on going anywhere. And if it comes to the point where my son has to take care of me, it would be nice to be able to at least have those 3 or 4 steps and bring in a ramp to bring me in at least through the front door.
Well, this is
So
very,
that's the
very
future.
to the west, correct? Not to the.
The front door faces.
The
Yeah,
front door
yeah.
faces west.
But everything to the north is not a concern at all, just
Right.
that 4 foot.
It's-
on the
yeah,
west.
it's
I
just
agree
the-
with that.
Right.
So you could easily put a step to the north and go to the south.
Yes, and
So that would
The
be-
steps to the east
the
already.
Yeah.
gentleman that I was talking to, he said something about putting steps to the
north or
west.
south?
Yeah, the north, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, but that wouldn't go into the driveway or anything, you have room for that, yeah. I think that was the engineer's primary concern,
Right.
is further impinging the right-of-way. So, and,
And that's why I'm okay
Yeah.
with the 4 feet.
yeah,
Because it's not really, it's, the only use it's for is to move things in and out and for us to get in and out. So, but it's the north, it's,
Well, you can
the
make
north
use-
side, I guess, same thing.
To make use of that door, you have to put some type of a stoop there, and if you're already encroaching to the west, the distance it takes to make those steps, any further north or south, really doesn't matter that much. Insignificant, and for basically the use of the house with the door there. I mean,
right, yeah, yeah.
So meeting Mark's criteria not to put steps out to the west, if you put them here, to the south, or you show it to the north, or
Well, I
going up,
actually was thinking
yeah,
about doing
or you
a
could put
whole-
them here too. You could have them here and here.
Both.
Here,
Yeah.
wherever you want.
But my thought was to bring them out to the west and then out to the, I'm thinking my direction's east.
The west is the one towards Emmett.
Yes.
That's where the friend goes.
He doesn't want the steps there.
We prefer
He
not.
doesn't have a problem with
We
it.
prefer not, yeah.
But I could take the steps the other way too.
Yeah, you could make the steps here or here.
North and south.
Right.
Yeah.
What you mean?
So that would be satisfactory for you. Okay. I was thinking, is this what you're calling your back door here? I thought-
Yes, that's where the little porch is at.
I drove around here and took a look, and I did, so you call that a porch, okay?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's all I can say it is a porch, I don't know.
It's a nice looking little house. I don't know if you've been there or not, but it is a nice place. Yeah. Anything else that,
Any other questions for our applicant, or
Make a motion to close the public
close the
hearing?
public hearing? Are you making the motion?
Yeah.
Do we have a,
was anybody, somebody has some
Oh, sorry.
comments in the public
Comments?
out here?
Can I make a comment?
of course?
And I'm for Amy, and I'm Amy and Josh's neighbor, Sheila Gerke, 1013 Emmett Avenue. I've lived there since,
To the south or north, maybe to the south.
I'm to the north. I'm the neighbor just to the north with the green bins. I've lived there since June of 2003. The neighbor that was there before them, before they bought it,
Mhm.
drug dealer, drugs. So when he passed away due to an overdose, we were very afraid of what we had coming into our neighborhood. Because needless to say, we're on a gravel road and we're 2 houses. And people came in, they took things out, so we had bad things coming in. When Amy bought the place, we did not know that Amy bought the place. And how we met our neighbors is we had called the sheriff several times because we were afraid of what you see on TV, these meth houses going up into rural communities. And Kevin said, man, there's a white truck down there, so he called the sheriff again. Amy got stopped on D12 because we called the sheriff. That's how we met our neighbor.
Were you driving a white
First
truck?
impression, isn't it?
A
But
white-
she has done so much. I wanted to show her support because she has done so much to clean up that area
Okay.
that we don't feel unsafe anymore. We feel safe.
Good.
So I would like you to be able to work with me.
Good.
Thank you, Sheila.
We could probably close the meeting.
No, we got one more.
Oh. Okay.
Kevin Miller, 1013, I'm gonna have him in Lot 9 live as well. Sheila and I live just a quarter mile north. This acreage, like Sheila said, the people, the previous owners were not the best neighbors. We tried to be neighborly with them. We no more bought our place. They come up with the excuse that their well is out. We let them come get water in our place for over 2 months. It got to the point where it was 11 o'clock at night, they were coming to get water. Finally had to say enough was enough. We had a bunch of items stole from our place after that. We couldn't absolutely 100% prove it was him, but even your Woodbury County Sheriff's deputies knew it was him. He was very well known with your law enforcement situation. It was a shame. We did try to buy this place. We didn't know when it was for sale. We tried calling and buying this place. To have a place for livestock, it's 4 acres approximately. Amy got to it before us. That house is extremely small. Extremely small. The 4-foot deck on the front is really a minor issue. I think we're all in agreement with that. The door on the east side of the house, basically you could say that is access to a mudroom when you walk in the house. She's completely redid the entire house. Spent a lot of time echoing her own sweat doing this herself. Really, there should be steps coming off the front of the house to the west. I know she's trying to work with you guys, but in all realisticness, there should be steps off the west. Because if you're in a wheelchair and you're trying to make that corner on a 4-foot turn, that's extremely tight. You're trying to carry in a couch into the house, mattress, appliances, stove, refrigerator, deep freeze. If you have a chest freezer, you're not going to make it. We've got to look at common sense on things.
Appreciate it.
She gets into a wheelchair, or even her son Josh, if an accident happens before they even think that it's possible, it's going to be hard. It's going to be extremely hard. We just got done going down to Dunlap this weekend. Took 141, is it 141 that goes down to Smithland? You come into Smithland, there's vehicles all over along the sides of the road, parked there. I mean, you guys got people building fences right up to the right of way of the ditch. If a fence is okay, then a few steps should be right, just to make it simple for life to be able to function. We all want to be able to get around. That house there, you come into the mudroom, on the east side, you still got to go up steps to get into it. You come in from the west, you got to come up steps or cement blocks, in her case right now, to get into it. Gotta make it easy. None of us are getting any younger, ever. None of us. What I thought was easy 20 years ago is not. Let's do the right thing and make it easy for the first time and easy for people that are gonna come in there. This may not be an active big farm like what we're doing up at our place, but it's a hobby farm. It's still her farm. She has the right to have livestock there, no different than me. Don't matter if it's a 1 head or a 100 head, she can still have them there. She doesn't bother anybody. She keeps to herself. Fantastic neighbor. We're very, very lucky to have them for neighbors. So I'm just asking you guys to do the right thing and make it easier on her, to make it easy on all of us. It's just, if she needs help, I'm going to go down there in a minute and help her. She's come up and helped us when we needed help. So let's make it easy and not have to fight this. Thank you.
Thanks, Kevin. Any other comments? We have a motion to close the public
Try the motion to close the public hearing again.
Second.
Second. Thank you. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same signal. Discussion among board?
I wonder about, I know Mark came out pretty strong about the steps to the, but that's pretty insignificant impact on the right-of-way. The right-of-way is 33 feet, and I don't know. I guess I wouldn't see, that was the first thought when mine went down, well, that's the first words out of my wife's mouth when she saw that. Why wouldn't the steps be there? It makes sense to have it there. So, I don't know, I guess I would probably support that. And if they wanted to put steps somewhere else to make it a little easier to access that part of the deck, that's okay too. But on the front door of the home, you'd kind of like to have steps going to the front door, I would think. And any time you're going to put something into a room when whatever it is, you're gonna have to back and pick up and up there, you know, a big item of something, something's gonna have to happen to do it. Conveniently, so that'd probably be a convenient thing, the steps, but, and not a necessary thing. I'm not sure I agree with Mark's comment.
I do appreciate the applicant's willingness to consider not putting in the front steps.
Yeah.
I mean, at least that was part of it.
Can I offer maybe an
You bet.
idea? I mean,
Sure.
I'm just sitting here thinking out loud now, but what about having the front, if you wanted a set of steps on the west side to that door, what about just sort of setting those steps into the deck more? So you would walk up on the step, you know what I mean? And then you could have the decking come up to the steps so the door could swing open. Do you know what I mean? Like have the steps.
You want the steps inset.
What's
Yes.
the elevation of the door?
Would that work?
What's the elevation of the door off the ground? Any steps that I can get up to it?
Well, I guess,
It would section out kind of an awkward part of the deck, I think, we did that, we would cut the steps in.
Okay.
That what south side section would be kind of awkward at that point, it's kind of chiseled out that way.
I think you're creating a trip hazard or a
I
fall
was just
hazard.
gonna say,
Because if you come out of that deck, you're gonna go down to a step to try to go up.
I was just gonna say that on the back steps, we have 3 steps coming in, and if I don't have a light on to see, I have fallen down those stairs 3 times already. So for me to be able to, and I do have a porch light, but that does worry me too, that if I go to step out and I step too far, I may go down the steps too. I would like to have it straight,
How many,
railing there, and the steps
Yeah, if
coming
you guys
out.
could make the steps just come out a lot before us, we really appreciate that. That would help us out, just have a straight shot into the door.
we're not talking about a lot of vertical elevation there, I don't think. If you got a block, you got a concrete block or something sitting there,
We just got, yeah.
and that's about this much below the threshold to the door, 6 inches or something like that.
Yeah.
So holy cow, that couldn't be maybe 3 steps to get from the, I don't think the land falls away very much from the house to the ditch. But, you know, put 3 steps in or something like that, that would,
Yeah, I think the plans, we were, to go up a ring or 2 of the siding and go out that way. And then
Yes,
that'd be level to the door.
yeah, they said that they would take two of the, siding off. Because I've got where the board is at the front of the door, that's, the siders wanted me to do that.
That would
They put
make
the
it
siding on, so it would be level walking.
And then however many steps to come up to that, 3 or 4, all that would be.
so your surface of the deck would be right around where that dark material, where your siding ends, that'd be the surface,
Yeah.
One or two
Right
rings up.
there, yeah.
Yep.
right there.
So how many additional feet would those steps encroach on the right of way?
Probably 3 feet, but a normal step is 4
Yeah,
feet
maybe 3 foot or something like that, don't you think?
So
But a step would be, the
7 foot.
tread would be 8 inches or 12 inches, the tread. And then step down, tread, so it'd be about,
From where I'm sitting at, I put a lot of respect on the county engineer's input. And he, although it be quite a ways off the road still, he did recommend we don't recommend that in his letter. I had a similar instance myself where I removed my front door so I could rebuild the porch because my entire house is non-conforming structure just like yours. So I remodeled my house around that door just for that purpose. Now, if he's allowing this additional 4-foot deck on there, given the current circumstances, you can make it work. But if something were to happen later on where you're saying you need a wheelchair or you're having issues with that, I don't think there's any reason you couldn't come back and ask for a variance based on that condition. But I'm not trying to be, hard to get along with. I guess I put a lot of respect in the engineer's comments, and typically he allows things that Duke does not, or he doesn't have any opposition to things that don't cause problems. So for just the mere fact that he put that statement in his letter, there was some meaning behind it. now, and another option is this could be tabled until you could talk to him and maybe have him rescind that. I wouldn't have a problem with that, but that would mean coming through this whole process again possibly.
Well, the dimensions are, generally you have easement for roadway purposes that's 66 foot wide, 33 feet from center line out. And you can build a pretty heavy-duty gravel road within 66 foot of right-of-way.
And the steps could be removed if construction.
The steps could be removed if they had to do something. So I know what he's saying, but I don't agree with it. And I think I'd like to see the steps be a part of the deck going up to it. And it's not going to be a hardship for them. If something happens, and the only thing that could happen if they widen the road and they have to reditch, and if something happens to the steps, I guess something happens to the steps. And maybe there'd be something in the variance to understand that they should be it could be that they'd be removed down the road. The practicality of widening that road, in my estimation, is probably slim to none.
And reaching that far off is pretty slim.
Yeah. My God, I thought I didn't think there were any homes out there when I went up that road. And when I wanted to go up and turn around, you know, I drove in south and north, I drove a long ways before I saw another house. Must be your house up there.
The Grandins, the
Yeah.
Grandin cells.
Just-
Everything's been, all the old farmhouses have been removed.
I just want to ask this question for consideration. So if we approve this variance with the steps facing the front, or, you know, going onto the 4-foot deck from the front, so Woodbury County wants to widen the road, does that tie Woodbury County hands if we allow those steps further onto the right-of-way? I mean, I just,
What about maybe putting a condition that if in that situation ever happens, that the
They may have to be
property owner
removed.
voluntarily remove them?
would you voluntarily remove them?
You
if
could
we-
put that in there, yeah, we
Right,
could.
and that stipulation would go with the property, not just the owner.
I don't know how we would.
That'd be a
Yeah.
tough one to enforce it,
Yeah.
you know, 100 years down the road.
Right.
is when this is supposed that they could happen.
when
I just
it
can't
explodes?
imagine that ever coming up. I just can't imagine
But
it.
it's not for us to. decide.
Right.
If
Yeah, I'm just
the
trying
county
to,
engineer
yeah.
says that that's a
Yeah.
possibility,
Yeah.
we have to respect his opinion.
Tom?
That road is a very poor maintained road.
Thank you.
Yes.
Get a lot more
Yeah,
gravel.
I go up it quite a bit, so I mean, it's probably gonna have to have something done to it, but it's almost impassable most springs.
For two vehicles, especially trucks. They might want to widen it, I don't know. One truck, yeah.
Wow.
But it's not, I could tell by just driving on it that everybody drives in the middle of it. That's where,
If you can't go, you meet a vehicle on a gravel road,
yeah, I know.
or a grain truck or something.
You might put in a caveat in there that the owner understands that should some roadway expansion take place, that the steps may have to be removed by the property owner upon the county's request. Maybe something like that. You know, there's other options too. You're dealing with 66 foot of right of way. Roads don't necessarily have to swing. You know, you got a lot of right of way to move around in. 66 foot's not a lot, but for a gravel road, it's a lot.
What is the distance, because the right of way is right there at the edge, you can see where the tall grass is. Right there, you know where your cursor was at, back down, out a little bit.
Pardon me?
Here? Further out, yeah. It's,
Yeah.
yeah, it's clear back, may I come up there?
Yeah, right.
Your right of way ends clear out here.
Well,
No, let's
That's your
move.
33 feet to the center of the road.
No.
are you sure of that? Did a surveyor?
That's the
There
fence
should
line.
be,
Yeah,
That's
here's,
the fence line.
fence lines are not always on the right of way.
and that's what the
Farmers have been
engineers,
known to encroach on public right of way. often.
Yes.
I'm just trying to see here, so,
Yeah.
there we go. Yeah, here's your right of way. So
Probably in that vicinity, by there's some bushes or something, or.
There were bushes there,
Yeah.
we helped take them out of there.
That's an old picture.
So I mean, you do have, you've got almost, well, your 100 foot's clear back to here, I guess, but what's your dimensions on your house, Amy?
24 by 36. 24 wide, 36.
So 36 is out here, so you're probably approximately 30 feet, so you still have 70 feet yet between the front of the house and the right of way. So you're taking 4 feet.
Well, the
down.
engineer measured it, and it's between 58 and 59 feet, so, I mean,
I mean, you still got a lot of
Yep.
ways to move
There's plenty of room for
for the
those.
Yep.
road and everything else if the
Yep.
road gets
There's plenty of
expanded
room
out.
for the steps, and I really
Because you
believe.
take, there's 6.5 feet right here, fingertip to fingertip. There's how much you're gonna encroach, and that's realistically not a significant amount. Thank you.
are we,
I would make a motion that we approve it with allowing the steps be added to that deck from the front door out towards the right-of-way line, you know, like you'd be coming off a porch or something like that.
is there a second of this motion?
I don't see a second.
We're failing to get a second motion, so that's not going to float.
If this helps at all, or just some food for thought, one of the things that I had a conversation with Ms. Benjamin over the phone, and the ordinance does allow permitted encroachments up to 6 feet in a front yard, but no more than 48 feet total. And so that's where we sort of,
Working it out.
presented this other option for the variance. But I guess I would just throw that out there that we do allow, encroachment into a front yard on a deck or a porch up to 6 feet out, so.
That's off the 100-foot,
I'm sorry?
off of the 100-foot right away.
That's just an allowed encroachment in any zoning district.
I mean, but it would vary, the situation would vary depending on how much you've already approached based.
Sure.
Right, so we're encroaching 4 feet with a 4-foot deck. Is that what you're referring
No, I guess
to?
I'm saying like,
Beyond.
Beyond that, so
Thank you.
like if she's wanting to do a 4-foot deck, with 3 feet of stairs, we're going a foot above what would be
Okay.
allowed, typically in a normal situation.
You know, and you gotta remember too, that when the planning and zoning regulations were put together, there was some consideration given to non-conforming structures, but, and I was part of the group that put that together, we didn't have a clue how many non-conforming structures were out there in the county. I mean, you're putting together an ordinance basically that's for new construction. And I think you've gotta look by some of this stuff. I mean, it's not like those doggone steps you're gonna walk off those steps into the ditch of the roadway. Not gonna happen. And I think it makes good sense. And I'll bet you that when that house was originally built, there was a porch on it.
I think the real factor is that Mark Nara has made a recommendation. It's not,
Yeah,
he had said, I'm okay with this.
he can live with it.
Well, we have to respect his.
Would
Yeah,
you
I know.
consider tabling this
That's
and
my
approaching
opinion.
Mr. Nara and asking for him to rescind that statement?
We would, for us, time is of the essence too, because we're getting close to end of the year, and we'd like to get this deck on as soon as possible. I do respect the engineer's decisions on, not necessarily agreeing with the steps, but realistically, I don't think they're, infringing the right of way. Is kind of what
No,
he was.
it doesn't appear that they're gonna be causing
Yeah.
any significant inconvenience at all. But we have meetings scheduled every first Monday of the month for stuff like this. And typically, he's asked for his recommendations, and typically, he's probably leans more on the favorable side than on the unfavorable
And
I would have no problem at all supporting the deck as you recommended, but adding the steps, I personally would ask that he be asked to reconsider. And if not, if he still says no, then I'm thinking he's really firm in his ground, and if he's willing to, step back from it, then that says an awful lot also.
can we, maybe pass what we're asking for today and come back at a later time and ask for additional steps? And talk at that point?
Why don't maybe Ron, you
We-
can talk to Mark
Well,
and,
or, my sense is, I mean, we can pass construction of the 4-foot deck with steps at either the north end or the south end.
And then come back at a later date and talk to our engineer, and we can see one of those front steps and revisit this topic.
I hate to put Mark in that situation, but, you know, like I said, there are options.
yeah.
There are options, and they're probably not as favorable as what your desired outcome would be. But having experienced that myself, instead of going through this process, I just changed where my door was at. But, and that's a major,
That's a pretty major
That's not an
No,
option.
that's
Yeah.
not my thing at all.
option.
But I guess I'm just saying that I'm not taking this lightheartedly. I'm not just saying, no, I don't want to do that. I truly appreciate your situation, and 4 foot is not much of a deck, but
If we, pick-
it's a lot.
if we go with the deck and the steps on either side, north and south, and some conversations had with Mark, and he'll rescind that, maybe. They don't have to come back here, do they? I mean, holy cow, that's a waste of time.
You folks have to come back, but they don't necessarily have to.
Right.
But they don't have to file anything, refile something, and it's gonna cost them more bucks to
I think in this situation, we could,
waive it.
work with them and, if the board would be okay with us allowing that, and, doing an amendment, to this variance. If the board wishes to do that, I think we can support that.
That's a good way.
So
to
open
handle
to amendment based on a second reply from the engineer?
Reconsideration. And that doesn't mean that he may just have, that this is what I feel. and
Yep, he may have-
I truly respect that, if that's what he wants, and I hope that you guys would also.
We respect his opinion, and we just like a chance to talk about it and see if we can
Maybe you could do a trade-off, you know, he. You
We
can
can
probably
probably
like
work
put your,
out, yeah.
I refinish that gravel road out there.
If he's here, we can
An
talk.
opportunity to start that dialogue with.
So,
Take more.
Do we-
By the way, I got a complaint I want to share with you.
While I'm here.
Yeah.
The board sent us.
do we have a formation of a motion, do we think?
I make a motion to approve the 4-foot deck on the west side without the steps on the west side, with options for steps on the north or south, with this
Open,
addition,
O-
or
open to-
whatever you want to call it.
open to amendment,
Open to amendment by the county engineer.
but for reconsideration by the county engineer.
Sounds good.
Do we have a second for that motion?
I'll second that.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Same signal. I think we have a unanimous decision. Thank you.
I'm sorry, but are you still gonna build on the north side?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, the deck on the north side.
Yeah.
If as proposed,
Do we need-
Steps.
just, you could put the steps north, south, or east,
Away from the road east.
you know,
Yeah.
on all or 3 corners if you wanted
Right,
to.
yeah, if you need to reword it, so, you know.
All right.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah,
deck is-
not only the 4-foot deck.
So, the part on the west side is really the only question, the north is, you can build whatever you want.
Yeah, right.
You can build just how this is laid out, with the exception of the steps going
Yeah,
west.
what we were wondering is, well, are we allowed to talk to the engineer then at that time? I could
If, you know, what I would recommend is that let's just do this, via email.
Okay, yep.
So, yeah, because I can send him the minutes, to the meeting, let them know what the board's decision was, and then, then everything's in writing, and, I mean, it's just a matter of forwarding it to them, and then, an administrative motion, so, yeah.
Good.
Great, thank you for doing that. Yeah. Is that- Dan, you're, yep, okay. Thank you for coming up with that solution, because we want to make it work. We're not trying to make it impossible, but we,
And we don't want to put anybody out.
right,
so-
and, yep, it's a balance. Any other citizens wishing to be heard?
Move we adjourn.
Any comments from board members or anything, word to the wise for anybody?
I guess we can, Dan and I discussed, letting the board know that, we've received, a model ordinance for a floodplain ordinance from the Iowa Department of Natural Resources. They're asking locals to adopt the new ordinance. And so we'll be going through a process of reviewing, what's been proposed by the DNR, working with the commission, and the supervisors, yes, to adopt that, and if there are, adjustments or changes or revisions to that model ordinance, then we'll make that, but it's something that we've got, in the hopper, and
Okay.
will probably happen likely by end of calendar years.
Okay.
Will there be any public hearings on
Oh,
that?
yeah.
Yeah, you're gonna have to have, yeah.
And that'd be susceptible to variance also.
Yeah, within the floodplain ordinance, they do have, variances and conditional uses, and so.
How does is it more lenient than the one we have?
Dan has been more involved on that. He actually went to a training in Omaha and was presented with that, so, he's had more time to review it. I know he likes it.
Technically, this is a FEMA ordinance,
Uh-huh.
and we work with the Iowa Department of Natural Resources, and I've been in communication with Bill Cappuccio, and he's mentioned that and he's the NFIP manager
Oh,
for the state.
thank you.
And some other communities have adopted this new form. In fact, when I talked to him quite a bit, he's thinking in that ordinance, I have to bring it back to where ours is from
Oh,
2008.
Okay,
So,
okay.
he's found it to be pretty effective. And a little bit of background, we take that ordinance and review it, but they have to approve it as well.
Oh, they do?
The DNR would have to accept it before the county could adopt it.
Oh,
as
oh.
well.
Do you foresee much modification to it?
It does have some modifications in terms of the size of some accessory structures. They have some 600 square feet structures that would be exempt,
Oh,
basically under
that's
there.
all right, yeah.
Basically give farmers
Good.
some flexibility on that, because
Is it-
farmers do remain under the floodplain ordinances according to Iowa code.
Is it going to change the limits of the,
It would remain the same. It has some
the
adjustments.
floodplains as they're established now will remain in place?
Yeah, much of what we have now would remain in place. It just has some adjustments to conditional use and what it would bring the applicants through versus conditional use versus administrative.
Like more
review.
streamlined, do you think, or
I don't think so.
you do?
It adds more flexibility
Yeah,
for,
nice.
if somebody were to, put something up that was not to the, I would say, intensity level of going up through the
Good.
Conditional use type of
Okay.
process. And another kind of thing that they kind of look at, I went to some CRS training too, where we have different levels of points, which look at the NFIP program for different activities that we do to flood protect
Okay.
folks, et cetera, which could have a positive effect on people's flood insurance rates.
Oh,
And there's a series of activities that we're looking through, seeing what we already do now that could help us with points and what we could add to it
Oh.
to help us with points.
That'd be nice.
And one of those would be elevation certificates as well, having folks report back what the elevation is on the final completed product as
Yeah,
well.
they hired an engineer.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
Exactly. So that would be a big part of it. But overall, this ordinance would bring us up to what FEMA is used to and what the DNR is pretty much their conventional ordinance.
Sounds uncharacteristic of FEMA to be flexible.
Proactive,
Past experience.
use available data.
Yeah.
I do have to say though, our coordinator, Mr. Capuccio, quite a bit. He's well versed with the
Right.
FEMA materials and everything, and I found him a very useful resource in terms of this. There's, I think, a couple counties in Iowa, we have to elevate 1 foot above the BFE for folks to build within the floodplain. Some communities have adopted going up a little bit further.
Oh.
For county by ordinance, it's 82 feet or 3 feet, which would of course add that much more
Right.
protection. But
Right.
still could be
Expense.
controversial too,
Right.
in terms of how much fill would have to be brought to the parcels.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
Very
It
good.
it is
Yeah.
interesting when
Yeah.
you look at what the cost of, so NFIP is National Flood Insurance Program. And, you know, the cost of insurance for somebody who just meets the minimum requirement of the lowest floor in the house at the base flood elevation. I'm just gonna throw a number out there. I think it was like around 4,000 or 4,000 a year. And then if you were foot above that base flood elevation, it drops it down pretty significant. But if you're 2 feet, it was really
I see,
significant.
a little savings.
But I don't know what
Yeah.
the cost difference of bringing
To
in
make
that
that,
fill and all that
right.
extra dirt work would
Right.
be, but, and those are the things that we'll hash out in our public hearings and, you know, let county residents have a voice at the table in that, decision-making process, but, yeah, so, you know, it's
Good.
it's a good thing, and the community, rating system that Dan had mentioned, we could actually help get county residents reduction in their premiums because of things that the county is doing through the floodplain administration, so.
Huh? That sounds like progress. Very good. All right. Anything else for the good of the cause?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Happy 4th of July, everybody.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much.